If you picked Win and you want to try out Echo Hunllef, well this is everything that you're going to need to kill the boss. Start out with, you're going to need to do the normal gauntlet or corrupted gauntlet to get yourself a Win Echo Orb. Now I got mine from the corrupted, so I don't know if it drops from both, but obviously you want to be quite familiar with the corrupted gauntlet anyway before you try this boss, which is essentially a more difficult version of it. Once you have the orb, anytime you go to click to enter the gauntlet, it's going to ask you if you want to fight the Echo version of the boss. And to start the fight, you're going to be given perfected armor, plus all 3 perfected weapons, plus 1 more weapon, which is a dagger, and that has a special attack which removes Hunllef's prayers. So to start out with, unless you're spec'd into T6 combat masteries, which means you do 60% of your normal damage even through prayer, you're going to need to start out using the dagger's special attack because Hunllef starts with all 3 protection prayers up. And after that, it'll go back to normal, where after 6 attacks, it will then protect from 1 different combat style. Periodically, it will then put the 3 prayers up and you'll need to use the dagger again, and that's the first mechanic that's being added. In the fight, you're going to have some tornadoes, very similar to the ones that he spawns when he does the stomp, but instead these are always there and they go around the room like this. And they're not actually that difficult, they're just kind of distracting, and as long as you get into the habit of not using the outside tile, it's very rare that they actually do anything to you. However, if they do hit you, it will disable your prayer. That's particularly damaging here because one of the other things that the boss does is it hits you twice every single attack. Now you do have perfected armor, so you are fairly tanky, and as long as you keep your health up, even if one of these disables your prayer and you do tank a hit, generally it's not too bad. As the fight goes on, you get more and more of these, but they always follow the same pattern around the room, which is this. But again, it's only really when you're running from the other tornadoes where this becomes a problem. But when there's no other tornadoes up, you just stand where you normally stand in the final phase, and they don't do anything to you. And it's only when you're running from the other tornadoes that it become a bit of a problem, but even then you have to be quite unlucky to stand on one of them. The next mechanic it does, and the one that's most likely to kill you, is it will fire this little blue ball at you which looks like a magic attack. And what this does is if you don't turn off your prayers, it will do quite a lot of damage to you. And whilst 14 food is really plenty for this boss, it's not going to be if you start to eat a few of these. Normally this attack comes just after it's finished its range attacks and it's going to switch to magic. And once you have that down and you know it's coming, that generally makes this fight just so much easier. This boss is just like when you first learned the Corrupted Gauntlet. There's so much going on. It's so hard to take in at first, but after a while it gets easier. And when you're throwing that attack whilst you're running from tornadoes, it's very difficult to deal with everything. But as soon as you know when it's coming, it's not too bad at all. And if you're thinking about doing this boss and you're not already very good at the Corrupted Gauntlet, I'd definitely recommend the T6 build, unless it's going to mess up your strategy completely, just because it makes it that much easier.